What's up, Tim Sykes, Millionaire Mentor, here with my Tim in arms, Tim Bowen, lead trainer of Stocks to Trade. How's it going?
Great. What are we going to talk about today?
So, a lot of people don't understand the risks and the potential rewards for low float stocks. So let's just educate the audience.
Sure. So I'll start out with kind of a definition of a low float stock. So first of all, the float is the freely tradable shares. So a lot of stocks, have institutional investors, have insiders that have shares, maybe employee compensation plans, et cetera. The float is the freely tradable shares that you or I or Tim can trade on the open market. The lower the float, the better. Because remember, in the end, the market is supply and demand. It's a market. There's buyers, there's sellers. And just like you learned in high school economics, the lower the supply and the more the demand, typically the price goes higher. So the float is the freely tradable inventory, for lack of a better term. Low float, when we talk about low float in our world, it's usually less than 10 million freely tradable shares. So look for that number is what you're looking for.
Let me add to that. So you have three things: shares outstanding, float, and restricted shares.
Yep.
So you began to explain about restricted stock. This is like what institutional investors have, insiders have.
Employees.
But because he doesn't eat his greens, he doesn't make, well-formulated thoughts. So those are restricted shares. Unrestricted is the float. This is freely tradable shares with average people. When we say low float, okay, 10 million, 7 million, 5 million. It also matters what the stock is trading.
Right.
So a stock might trade, 1 million shares and the float is like 20 million shares. That's not much. That's only 5% of the float. What I like about low float stocks is they can move very fast. It's, a double-edged sword, because if a stock is spiking, let's say there's 1 million shares of people who want to buy the stock and the float is only 2 million. Instead of it being 5% of the float, that's 50% of the float. And what happens if another 1 million shares want to buy and another million? So what if there's 10 million shares that want to buy and there's only a 2 million float? So now 5 times the amount of people want to buy the stock that exists.
And think about that back to that supply and demand idea. There's
the demand is so great,
Yes.
then the stock price has to go up in order to kind of inspire people to want to sell.
Or to scare some of the buyers away.
Yeah.
In essence, if that price goes high enough, then the demand is going to drop. I mean, it's just basic supply and demand. Yeah.
It goes up and down. It's like the Laffer curve. Study economics is good for you. It'll put you to sleep. I do worry about people trading low float stocks because they can spike so fast and drop so quick. You have to be like triple on guard. Obviously, I always say cut losses quickly, rule number 1, but low float stocks can move like freaking ping pong balls. Like
Yes.
a low float stock, some of these stocks have low floats of like 300,000 shares.
And they might trade 30 million on the
And
day.
they might trade, so that's called float rotation. So it might rotate the float 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 times, and the stock might go from 1 to 10 back down to 1 all in one day. And you have to be aware of that. Low float stocks move the quickest, so it's good if you're riding it up, or if it's up like from 1 to 10 on the day and you find shares to short and it comes back down to like 1 on the day. Just beware that this is so dangerous and such a quick market. You have to really be prepared ahead of time.
See, I think, because, when you see a stock that went from $1 to $10 in one day, or even 1 to 5, I mean, these crazy moves, we've seen 1,000% runners before. But
in one
day, we routinely see 100, 200% runners. So a lot of new traders get very enamored with that idea, and then sometimes they overstay. One point I want to make, and before we wrap up this video, is I say this all the time in Stocks to Trade Pro: you can never be out of a low floater too quickly. We always talk about, standard market nomenclature is, cut your losses early and let your winners run. I agree with that, except in low float land. You cannot let your winners run in low float land. If you get that big green move, you take that profit and you run away as fast as you can. And don't overstay.
And even if you are in a low float stock that's moving fast and the profit seems amazing, I would encourage people to trade smaller than they think.
Yeah.
Like if you think, I want to buy 5,000 shares, remember this video and maybe buy 1,000 shares instead of 5,000. Like go smaller. Because the moves are so quick, you really cannot control the risk on big size positions. I mean, I've seen some traders where the float is 300,000 and they're taking a 30,000 share position. I mean, you're 10% of the company, way too much.
Right.
Okay, I don't care if it's trading millions in the day. Low float stocks can also get halted.
And the value can dry up very quickly, and then you
have a
unwind
nasty
your position.
spread too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes the stock is still up, but the bid is like $5.20 and the ask is $5.70. So the spread is 50 cents a share. Such big risks with low float. Big risk, big reward, but you have to be mentally prepared. Leave a comment below if you understand that it's all about safety. Remember, 90% of traders lose. A lot of it is due to lack of preparation. We don't want you to make that mistake. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. Also suggest some new topics for us. We're running out of topics. We need more. Ask us anything, except about Tim's hair because he's very, shy about that.
2 big points. Remember, smaller size, take quick gains in low float land. That's the 2 big takeaways.
Leave a comment too. Cheers. Hey, Tim Sykes, Millionaire Mentor and Trader. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that they help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the years. You can check out more videos right over there. And also click subscribe so that you can watch all of these videos, get that knowledge, and become my next millionaire student.